Hello, everyone. My informative speech will be A Taste of Soul in the African American Community. When you think of soul food, what comes to mind? Is it barbecue ribs, chicken, chitterlings, cornbread, black eyed peas? Well, that was come to my mind. Soul food plays a big part in the African American community, in the history and also the present. Soul food was born out of struggle and survival. My informative speech will be about soul food, which originates from the African culture. I will cover the history of soul food, some of my favorite dishes, and how it became generational. Soul food originated in the Deep South in states like Mississippi, Georgia, and Alabama. During slavery, Africans were given scraps, which were low in quality and nutritional value, by their slave owners. With these rations, slave people preserved African food traditions and adapted traditional recipes with these resources available. Therefore, soul food was born. Pork was a dominant food source during slavery, along with corn. The slaves were given 3 pounds of pork per week. But they were not only given pork, but they were given the lesser parts of the pork, like the feet, the head, the ribs, fat back, and internal organs. Other foods like corn, rice, and greens are foods that Africans had to eat as well. During the time of slavery, Africans were not given a choice what they could eat, like we all have today. Instead, they had to eat what was given by their slave owners, what they didn't want. Just imagine working all day and you come home and you do not have a choice what you would like to eat. You have to eat whatever is presented to you. Sounds like the average 13 and under kid, right? The slaves had to make do what they were given because they had to eat to survive. Speaking of eating, let's talk about some of my favorite dishes. I absolutely love fried chicken, and I have to have hot sauce to go with it. Growing up, my dad would make the prettiest golden brown fried chicken. Next is macaroni and cheese. This is a household favorite in my family. My mom would have to make at least two big pans. I have a big family. But I like to think that I can make some good mac and cheese as well. I adopted that from her. Collard greens is my number one favorite soul food dish. It's somewhat healthy because it's green, but the way we prepare it, not so. Another thing is barbecue ribs, something every culture can enjoy, but it is a tradition in the African American community, at least during holidays. Speaking of tradition, soul food has been passed down from generation to generation in the African American culture. I lost my grandmother in 2015, and I remember growing up, she would have the best Thanksgiving and Christmas get togethers. She would prepare meals for the entire family. All the family would stop by and she would prepare ribs, mac and cheese, collard greens, potato salad, candy yams, turkey, dressing, just to name a few. Those are fond memories that I will always cherish with my family. Now that my grandmother is gone, we continue to host holiday parties at one of the family members' houses and prepare some of those same dishes like our grandmother used to do. I just hope that the generation under us continue the family tradition. Soul food was created from a very dark part of history. But I like to see the silver lining in things. Although slaves were given the lesser value of food, they created something that is now adopted by more than just the African American culture. Soul food cuisine is enjoyed all over the world. When I think of soul food, not only does my mouth water, but I think about family, love, survival, and perseverance for my ancestors. There was a saying that soul food is not only good, but it's good for the soul. Thank you. I'm April Scott.